Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor, great honor can be here. I know some of your father or your flew the over the harm of flying tigers. Will you standing up, please? Your father, yeah, please. Let's salute to their father. Originally, 19 years ago, when I was assigned as a group commander of the 5th Fighter Group, that was under the CACW, also under the 14th Air Force. I know nothing about the Flying Tigers until the headquarters of our Air Force sent me to the United States for the Flying Tigers reunion. So fortunately, 19 years ago, I met some of them still alive, like Tex Hill, you know everybody of them. So I just sit in there and listen to their talking about all history, day by day, hours by hours. So after I came to States for several times, so that become my knowledge. You know, I learned a lot from them. So then I know, wow, this is a very, very true story, very meaningful and very glorious history to both sides, United States and I say our country, Republic of China. But today, you know, we lost the Civil War in 1949, just like North and South Korea. So today, I will talk some of them during my briefing about what's attitude. I think today, politically or historically, flying tigers are the common core value among the United States, my country, Taiwan, Republic of China, and mainland China. We call it PRC. Actually, we call them our big cousin anyway. Okay, this page. Here's content, 8 contents. I don't want to go through it, just for your information. In the early days, Japan started to invade China in 1931. I think 1937, yeah, 1931, because officially started from 1937. So at that time, our old Air Force, we don't have the Air Force, so we, the senior leadership of the country, President Chiang Kai-shek and journalist Chiang Kai-shek, think about the Air Force are very, very important. So we thank you for the Uncle Sam. So as the retired Major General John Jewett came to China and to help us to his dad of course we pay for that, to buy 250 new airplanes and the train 350 pilots. At that time, the TV Song Ziwen, he was the Madame Zhang's elder brother, and he is the first person to propose to establish our Air Force. So due to the uprising in Fujian province in the November 1933, because we don't know the air power are so good, so finally we think we are not that good. So we asked John Jewett to do something operational, like a combat mission for us, but denied by him. He said to our government, my country, the country, your country is for training, not for the fighting. He was right. So then he wanted to disband, discontinue the contract. Then he back to the States. So after that, nobody can help us. But at that time, before the World War II, officially, so we have some good relationship with the Italian. So Kong Xiangxi, he was brother-in-law of the Madame Zhang. So at that time he was prime minister. So we asked him, excuse me, journalismo asked him, Chiang Kai-shek asked him to go to Italy to talk to the Mussolini. So that's why Mussolini also want to promote their aerospace industry. So he agreed to send the General Benito here, Salvio Scarani, lead a military mission to China. also include 40 pilots and 100 engineers, blah blah, something like that. So help us to set up the factory assembly Italian airplanes in China. I think in Zhejiang province. Here is the airplane they provide. Of course, we bought that. And at the beginning of the war of the resistance against Japan, you can't believe we have 500 aircraft, but only 91 can fight. Why? Because at that time, no experience and no knowledge to know how to support, to maintain the aircraft. Like today, if we buy the aircraft, we buy a whole bunch. We bought 150 F-16 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So we know the logistic support and maintenance are very important. And even we call the IRS integration logistic support. But at that time, no concept. So when Chiang Kai-shek know that, well, we have 500 airplanes, that's not bad. Sir, sorry, we only 91 can fight. So making feel very, very angry. And the first, because of the 91 aircraft issue, so we in October 1937, so we assembly the 14th Volunteer Squadron. All the pilots are foreigners, like American, English, French, you name it. So to fight against the Japanese. That's why at that time in 1937 October, General Chennault already arrived China. So that's why in the early days, when 14th Air Force established, the 14th number is from here because it's from foreigner. So that's why, of course, at that time this squadron already dismissed, but he picked up the 14th Air Force, become new year. If I'm wrong, please correct. You know much better than me. And that's the airplane that flew before. Just show you. Especially, I want to emphasize the Martin B-10. Oh, next page. Oh yeah, here. Because we are too weak in China at that time. Our country is giant country, giant people, but the national power is too weak. You know, at that time, whole China, our army only 44 cannon. Whole China, 44. Japanese, they have at least each division have a 22 cannon. So two divisions can cover, compete with them. We are too weak. So at that time, we cannot fight with them, but they invade us. So that's why we have we used to be, you mentioned it, like here, use the, Martin B-10. So on the 19th May, 1938, they flew from here and stop here for refueling, then flew to the Japan, and drop the leaflets here, and then back to the China. This action, we call it peaceful action, but truly surprised Japan. This is the first time in their history, airplane flew over the Japan's territory and dropped the leaflets. 4 years earlier than the Doolittle rate. Yeah, but this airplane made by USA. Thank you for Uncle Sam. Yeah, but at that time, Japan's feel very, very angry. What? We are so strong, but our Air Force flew the airplane to drop the leaflet in the Japanese island. So unbelievable. So this page is a photo show when they come back after the land in China, and the second day they flew to the Chongqing. We call it temporary capital. So the senior official of the government have a photo with them. This is and Martin B-10. Okay, I saw this in the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base several years ago. I went there. That's me, too dark. That's okay. But when I saw this airplane, I almost cried. Unbelievable, glory history. Yeah. So because that's truth, that's history. So that's why Japanese, the painters paint this like Japanese characters, by their language, So that's true. I'm just showing is how important it was. And because Chennault was seen by General Mao Bangsu and the royal Holbrook when he retired. Before retire, they have a flag demonstration. We call the Freeman Trappers in Miami. That was in 1935. So when General Mao Bangsu saw his demonstration, feel this guy is the one we like. So he recommended to the Madame Zhang. So we asked him to go to China and hire him as a senior advisor and help us how to train our pilot, how to fight with the enemy. And there's General Chennault. This is Mr. Williamson, and his left hand is Mr. McDonald. His son, probably around 80 years old. I feel very excited. Why? Because next Monday I will fly to Atlanta, and on the next Tuesday evening I will give a speech about the Flying Tigers, just like this one, both English and Chinese, two versions. His son is living in the Birmingham, Alabama, so he will drive to the Atlanta to meet me there. I think we should have 3 hours to talk. So because his elder sister, his sister's godmother was Madame Zhang, and her godfather was General Chennault. So he knows about everything about General Chennault, So I feel very excited, just like today with you all. And because General Chennault retired as a captain, because he's quite old, as a captain, at that age. But in my country, in our philosophy, this guy should be like a colonel or something, or general, because he's quite old. When he retired, like 40-something or over 40 years old. So when he visits China, Madame Zhang, she graduated from the Wesley. Wesley in your country is so famous at that time. So her English better than her Chinese. So when he saw the General Chennault, looks like colonel, so just call him Colonel Chennault. So that's why when the ABG established, he was assigned as a colonel. And he also was very smart. Why? When he went to China on June 1st, 1937, 1 month ago, he went to Japan. Before, prior to China, he went to Japan, stayed for 1 month. Do you know for what? Intelligence, information collection. So he went to the airport, to the harbor, army fair, to took a whole bunch of photos. So that's why during the wartime, after Pearl Harbor, so he provided all the intelligence intel to at that time called the War Department, not BOD. So surprised War Department. Oh, this guy, very smart. So on the 21st August 1937, because the Sino-Soviet, we signed the non-aggression pact. So they agreed to send the 6 Russian flight squadrons and 400 planes to assign to China to help us. And be honest with you all, because we have a very weak Air Force, so Italian training not that good. Because if you are the trainee, if your father are banker, or your father are senior official ranking officer, so you can be graduate, definitely, for sure. If your father are farmer or something like that, I shouldn't say no chance. The chance are pretty low, But American system, training system are very good. We don't care about your father's background. If you are good, you're good. Even your father is a farmer or banker, whatever. So that's why we like American system. Even today, our Air Force have a connection with your early stage. Even before the Air Force, before the U.S. Air Force, they belong to the Army Air Force or Army Air Corps. At that time, we already have a relationship. So past 80 years, even today, very good, both sides. And so that's why at that time, Russian help us. Even our people don't like Russian, to be honest with you. But at that time, we actually appreciate. That's the truth, right? So we need to appreciate them. So here's the aircraft that they provided, and they were talking about the Soviet SVG. They support us. Of course, we gave a credit value for about $20 million US dollars to acquire those airplanes. Yeah, of course, also include the anti-aircraft. We call it AAA, formed after the pattern of the Soviet air arms. Here is some photos related to them. Maybe you already know this, and they fought for 4 years, helped us. 220 of them died in fighting. So even today, like 3 years ago, we have a 80 years anniversary. We also go through some channel, invite their son or their grandchildren to come to Taipei. We want to memorize them, to pay our respect to their parents, fathers or grandfathers. So this was when they finished mission. Do you know why they left? Because at that time German attacked Russia. They have internal problems, so that's why they want, as all the pilots, overseas the move back against a German invasion. This is third AVG, the third squadron. General Chennault was here. So on the 25th November, after Mao Bangchu and proposed as Madame Jiang and Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek to hire General Chennault as an advisor. So both they have a report, requires 660 airplanes, construct the material for 14 airports, blah blah blah, and for the further combat with Japan. So that's their recommendation to the. Of course, they also submit this proposal to the U.S. government, but unfortunately, not all of them approved by the President Roosevelt. That's one. And the idea of AVG was supported by the majority of the U.S. officials. Yeah, and finally, ROC government was allowed to purchase 100 P-40. Originally, we can buy anything. We can't buy anything. Why? Because British, they already fight with the German, but they want a new P-40. So, because they want a new 40, the version is better than B. So that's why they think about, okay, so we can sell the 40 B models to China. And because this actually idea, the AVG idea from General Chennault, and also include 100 pilots and 100 airplanes. So because one night when he had the play ping pong in Nanjing with I mentioned about Mr. McDonald. So second day earlier they have a breakfast like a working lunch or working breakfast. Then he talked to the McDonald. They talked to Billy. He said, "Hey Billy, I think I will need this." So that's why because there's not in the true history. So when his son, I will meet on next Tuesday, he talked to the civic Smith. So he confirmed this is true story. Yeah. So this is new slides for this story. Just let you know. And here is President Roosevelt signed the order, and here was the great Gary Boynton, very famous pilot. So he signed the resignation letter. So that's evidence now in your National Archive office. So I just showed this. That's the truth. On the March 15th, 1941, the President inked the Land Lease Act to help our Air Force, the setting up the AVG and keeping the transports and the powerful air support. So AVG start officially was established on the 1st of September. And here's the squadron. You all of you familiar with this?
Yes.
Yeah. And the three squadrons numbers Maybe you will have a question. We bought 100, why only 99? Because the crane, when carried the P-40 to the ship, make some mistake. So make that P-40 drop into the harbor. So we lost one. Yeah, but people pay for that. So anyway, that's why that's fair. Each squad has 33. And the 100 crew and 150 ground crews. Okay, Kelly mentioned that to me because they all retired. Not retired. They signed the resignation, the letter. They must left. So include the Army aviator, Marine aviator, and the Navy aviator. So when they came to China, okay, we pay for everything because they retired. Nothing related. Because why? Because at that time, U.S. government still have a diplomatic relationship with Japan, but no war happened because before the Pearl Harbor, so we cannot send our troops to China to help China against Japan, right? So officially they say no, we cannot do this. So after the State Department think about, that's the only way you can do that. So we resigned, left the military, then you can go to China for the fighting. Of course, after Pearl Harbor, officially announced we have a war with Japan, right? Americans. So that's why they changed the organization. So totally have 7 sailing were taken. And here, there's a rule just for information, because as you know, Japan started to invade and attack the Philippines in December 1941. So this is September, so we're still goodbye. Anyway, we are worried about the submarines and the Japanese battleship around this area. So have 2, after the Hawaii, have 2 American Navy ships escort them to this area. Finally, they arrived at Rangoon. Here's the rest of the 6 batches. Okay. Well, yeah. Because the AVG members, whether it's air crew or ground crew, their motives to join were mainly originate from the pioneers of the peacetime service and willingness to absorb the operational experience and drive a high pay. That's a BOQ for them. They are not worried about the temperature, very hot, but they worry about the mosquito. So you can see here a whole bunch of outside mosquito tent, yeah, for the mosquito, for anti-mosquito, yeah. So at that time, the young pilot got 600 per month, element leader 675, commander 750. I think at that time it's equivalent to the average to the States, right? So we pay for that, but they have a bonus if they shut down the whatever in the air or on the ground. Okay, if they shut down one or kill one bogey, they can get $500. At that time, $500 can buy a house. Yeah, very, very, yeah. Not like today. 500 buy nothing. I'm just kidding. This one truly surprised me because all the Chinese here, they were the Chinese descendants. They were the AVG ground crews. So I found this in the 2016 when I visited Atlanta. They have a air war area or something like that. You can see here more than 200 Chinese descendants serving in the AVG. This is the first time I saw this, so it's very surprised me. And here's some photos of them. Unfortunately, they only show one day. The second day, I went to their tent. They're all gone. So maybe next time, if I still have a chance, I would like to talk to them and gain more materials, data, and put it into my briefing materials. Because I mentioned before, Pearl Harbor happened, so that's why U.S. declared the war against Japan. So the name of volunteers vanished and changed the CATF, okay, China Air Task Force. That's their logo. And they built up on the 4th of July, 1942. So the CATF under the 10th Air Force of the U.S. Army Air Force. Their mission primarily focused on to protect the flight routes and from south to the east of the Ham and the roads of the southwest airfield in China. The secondary focus was to attack the block the shipping and the supply of Japan's forces. So until the early 1943, General Chennault proposed to the President Roosevelt mentioned about to separate from the CATF, leave the 10th Air Force to be an independent Air Force. Why? Because General Stilwell, at that time he was a 3-star lieutenant general, so he had a ground fighting with Japan and lost Burma. Today we call it Myanmar. So his whole life goal was to can win the war and get Burma back. So he put a whole bunch of focus on the Burma war. So did not support General Chennault very well. Of course, because both of them not very good relationship. You know, they call him a vinegar Joe. Yeah. So that's why. So because at that time, General Chennault just a colonel, right? He can talk to President Roosevelt directly. Last night I also gave the same speech at the Luke Air Force Base. I asked your Air Force Deputy Wing Commander and group. I say, now you are Colonel, can you talk to your President directly? They say, well, sometimes, just kidding. No way for that. But at that time, he can call from China to the United States, talk about it. The President Roosevelt say yes. So that's why they separate. Even today in my country, our colonel cannot talk to President directly. No way for that. So he pointed out, if U.S. can offer 150 fighters, okay, 30 mid-sized bombers and 12 heavy bombers with sufficient spare parts, so he can defeat the Japan jet forces and protect hundreds of thousands of U.S. service members. And the President Roosevelt definitely agreed with that, and they start to ship increase the shipping volume for the Ham, okay, in the May 1943. This is the organization, very very useful, because some people, they say, oh, the truly Flying Tigers member are the AVG. That's for sure, no problem. But in our definition, bodily definition, you think about the CATF, because some of the AVG members, when they, vanish and we change to the CATF, some of them still remain in the CATF, and even after in the 14th Air Force. So that's why we call, in our term, we call the true AVG members will be the AVG, right? But we have a second phase surface, broadly definition for the Flying Tigers members. But now you can see here, this we call the CACW, Chinese American Composite Wing. So under this wing, we have the 1st Bomber Group, 3rd Fighter Group, and the 5th Fighter Group. Now those 3 units still in my Air Force. But the 1st Bomber Group already changed to Fighter Group because we don't have the bomber. Why? Because after we lost the Civil War, we moved to Taiwan, we still try to fight back to recover the whole mainland China. So Chiang Kai-shek hopes that Uncle Sam can help us, but the U.S. government's strategy is no way. You just protect yourself. We don't want to provide a bomber to your country because the bomber is an attack weapon system. Yeah, so that's why. Anyway, so just for your interest, the 4 phases. Here's I spent a lot of time to find the insignia here. Not easy to find. Even today, I can't find the 443, 443rd troop carrier group. There's all the logos here. You can take a look. And all same for the 14th Air Force. You can see what year, what kind of plane they fly. Yeah, here is the CACW. There's like the 1st bomber group. Anyway, I mentioned that before. These other assigned units, for information. Here's from the 10th Air Force. Are you ready? Okay, next page. I know you want to take a photo.
I got it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And this is for the 20th Air Force. Oh, spend a lot of time. And another thing is Chinese members in the 14th Air Force. That's General Chennault's idea. So first batch of the 12 trainees, okay, they were required to serve in the 23rd fighter group. Now today, this unit located in the South Carolina. And General Chennault expect them to absorb experience from American command and the control mindset. Of course, this U.S. trained Chinese pilot could read combat experience with U.S. counterpart in the real setting. Now you know this quite well. In Yunnan province, we have a whole bunch of coolie. We call them American call coolie. We call locals to construct the 10 airfield. The peak record, the highest record was one day they have more than 260,000 people work there. You know, because we have so many people, so that's why to make the airfield very well. And this one was donated by the men in China, the stone roller, now in the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And here's the hump. If I'm wrong, please correct me. And the hump refers the flight route from the Tien River on some part of India to the China, Sichuan province. And the road carries the U.S. supply from the Karachi, India, flying over the roof of the world, Himalaya. As you know, today is very easy. Everything goes through by GPS, so make people more stupid. Is that right? The early days, no GPS. You need to calculate by your brain, by your intelligence, right? You make some map work. So that's why. And that's the road. You can see that today GPS. We see to fly over the hump so easy. By that time, very dangerous. You know, the hump, was kicked off on the 21st of March 1942 by American Ferry Command. They have two roads. One's north, you can see the distance and the altitude. Actually, mostly they like to go to the south. South is more further, but the more difficult. But the north more a little bit closer, but too dangerous because Japanese fighters will attack them, to search them, intercept them. So the width of the hump is roughly around the 80 kilometers. So use of the CNAC. Over the 200 years, they lost the 500 planes, more than 1,500. The crews were killed because so many metal debris scattering over the cliffs and canyons were used as a signpost to guide the following planes. So therefore, the hump was called the aluminum trail or valley or the gas road. The hump once had 650 soldiers a day, unbelievable, during the peak. So from the May 1942 until the war ended, so more than 80,000 sorties were achieved. And the fuel and ammunition obtained a large share of the supplies. In 1945, fuel occupied 60%, in total supply of weapons almost, but the spare parts were 15% and the rest are 25%. Those are the airplanes that flew, B-25. This also the B-24, different configuration to transport, to ship the fuel. At that time, fuel are very important. And here's the cargo. See, you know this quite well. And here is when some of the aircraft crashed, and our people to help them. In the Yunnan province. So there's some photos that showed them there. Yeah. So after President Roosevelt agreed, so on the 10th of March 1943, the CATF was reassigned to the 40th Air Force. Of course, the General Chennault in charge of that. Here's the CSW organization. Today, the first, we call the group, still in Taiwan, with the fighters. So 7th and 28th fighter squad is still there. I was the 5th fighter group, also was the 5th fighter tactical composite wing commander. So at that time, the 17th squadron, 26th and 27th squadron is still there today. Okay, here is the responsibility of the two sides. So this is related to the CACW, the squadrons, first bomber and 3rd fighter group and the 5th fighter group. So what's the Chinese doing, what the American doing? So similar to today. I shouldn't say similar to today. We learn from this. And here's the CACW relocation road depicted as follows. Because during the wartime, some area occupied by Japan, so we need to move. This relocation map for your information. Here is a 5th fighter group. The composite wing means was formed by the fighter squadrons and the bomber, squadrons. So General Chennault decided to use the Chinese pilot to supplement the manning of the 14th Air Force to resolve the manpower problem. The fighter squadron contains 9 American officers and 20 NCOs. Among them, 7 are the pilot. So have a counterpart Chinese pilots. In addition, there were 20 Chinese pilots and 150 ground crew assigned. This photo was taken many years ago. This was 26th Squadron. Those Chinese participants in the CSW were shipped to the Karachi, in India, and also the train at the Loop and the Thunderbird. This is Karachi. Originally belonged to the India, but now it belongs to Pakistan. After war. And here's a look. Air Force Base. So the newly established CACW and the 14th Air Force had assigned 200 more planes to attack Japan's position. So from the 23rd December 1941 to the 1st July of 1942. So with the scarce resources, so 55 operational planes and the 79 pilots. So they knocked down the 299 jet airplanes. 300 probable damage. So they are very good. In Chinese, we will call it 顶好. You know that? Yeah, 顶好. So from 1941 to 1945, from AVG to CATF to 14th Air Force, that's all the airplanes that flew before. So totally operational results and the casualties. Next page. There's the mission they have, the launch solids. Yeah, you can just for information. So totally related to AVG, because at that time AVG belongs to ROCAF. So totally, related to American, totally we lost 104. Yeah, pilots, training, navigators, you can see here. There's an airplane that flew before. I want to mention because P-61, a Black Widow, is a Ricky airplane, so only flew by American. So they help us, but we don't have this kind of airplane in our inventory at that time. One thing I want to mention, because start from the 1941 to 1945, so many air campaign, so I don't want to mention one of them. Waste too much time. If you have, at least talk will be 5 to 6 hours. But anyway, one important thing is on the 7th May 1942, because we call the Southern River here, we call the Southern Gorge, because at that time Japan at least have 2 army divisions who want to cross the bridge. In Chinese we call the Huitong Bridge. If they're over the bridge, will attack the Kunming, just like your home, your backyard. If you lost your backyard, you will be totally lost everything. Then if we lost the Kunming, they will attack Kunming, also invade the Chongqing. Then all China, all the territory will become occupied by Japan. So this is very important. So Flying Tigers, help us. They flew so many soldiers to bomb the Japanese army divisions, also destroy the bridge. So the Japanese army cannot cross over the bridge. So these are very, very important. If this painting we lost, the whole history will be totally changed. And this painting was painted by American painter, and they have a friend now hanging in the Randolph Air Force Base. If you have time to go there, maybe someday the museum here they can get one replica, whatever, more easier. Another thing I want to mention, on the 25th November 1943, the first group and some American bombers, they deal with a strong blow to Japanese by destroying 42 airplanes on the ground, and not include air. Array on the Hsinchu airfield. Now today is our Mirage base in Taiwan. At that time, it's the biggest airfield in Taiwan. So that day is very important. Right? It's a coincidence because on the 25th November 1943, same day, they have a Carroll conference. You know that? Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Churchill, President Roosevelt, and Chiang Kai-shek, and then Chiang Kai-shek, they went to the Egypt in Cairo. They have a conference there. Same day, they attack here. The most important, they have a great achievement. They destroy everything, nothing loose. Everybody fly back safe home. Very safe. That's a tremendous, unbelievable, very, very good achievement. And here I can show you the totally flew the 14 P-25, 8 P-38, and 7 P-51. Why don't they have the P-40? P-40 also participate the air campaign, but they play escort role on the Taiwan Strait. After they finish bombing, they fly back, right? The P-40 flew there to cover them. Original was a 30 airplane. Do you know why 29 here? Because one of the P-51, the oil system malfunction, so he cannot take off. So only the original 30 airplane, but not only the took off 29. So there's during the air, they shut down. What they shut down in the air. That's for your information. Yeah. This is a photo taken in front of the cabin of the P-25. Unbelievable. All planes from our side safely returned to base. Unbelievable. Here is another photo. Show you. Here is the Hsinchu airfield before the air raid. Yeah. So you can make a comparison. This one I want to mention because in the Dankou and the Zhejiang campaign in 1943, they exerted the high level of airland coordination and destroyed a regiment and many artillery pieces of Japanese forces. So that's why the participating units were awarded by the President unit citation by the FDR. So this is very honoring. Because so many operations from 41 to 45, so that's why I don't want to mention each of them. I just show you here the name of each operations. So we have this book, all by Chinese. If you like to see, I can show you in the future. Not now, okay? Because all Chinese is not easy for you to get. We need time to find it into the Chinese to English. Oh, yeah.
We have absolutely that.
Okay. And this is, can you believe in World War II, Japanese, they can build all kinds of aircraft here. Fighter, bomber, Ricky, and the trainer transport, you can see that. 70, almost 80 years ago, Japanese can make everything happen. So strong. You see? Okay, now we'll talk about the successful tactics. This is still have to make a long time to talk. I'll just show you the key to success, the key factors here. First one is the dual aircraft tactics. General Chennault learned from this German expert. He was killed when he was 25 years old. He shot down a lot of French and British airplanes, but I didn't know the number. At least I think more than 15 or 20. You know, very handsome guy, very good, but he was killed. And General Chennault thought the assemble two aircraft as a team is more effective than the single one in large information. So he stressed the importance of the coordination. But at that time, he's the only one proposed this idea. But in Army Air Force, nobody agreed with him. But after war, proved he was right. Yeah. Easy. Okay, pursuers may have a shot to intercept incoming bombers. The second one was the bombing mission to enemy strongholds require pursuers escort to defeat the loss rate, to decrease the loss rate. The second key factor was the well-structured C2 and intelligence systems. That's for your information. I don't want to depict each one of them. General Chennault requires a radio set installed in the flight lead cabin and the link to the communication network of the lookout in Nanjing Stadium, the network, and the intelligence of the spiders in the web. So each radio operator played a key role, and the roughly 8 to 10 intel personnel have to report the status to the general officer in charge. And in such a way, they use the symbol to identify enemy types, number, etc. in the headings. This is the photo we show here. Very easy, but very effective. And one of our radio expert, Wei Daming, to set up the web of the LC lookouts and communication post to monitor air and naval statuses effectively. And here is the two Navy officers and the Chinese operatives on the Ricky survey of the East China coast in early 1945. Wei Dami, he knows Mr. Herbert Yagli quite well, so he's an encryption specialist. So he invited him to China as an advisor. So in September 1938, Mr. Yagli went to China secretly, and they organized the aero recon team and collect aero intel and recruit trainee literally of Japanese to receive the relevant training. And also, the Chinese were also involved in Chennault's warning web as observers. This one of the member was Mr. Feng Yuanqiao. Next page. He's still alive in Taiwan. So there's the photo and there's a citation special for him. Got a medal. So he's talking about the all history. Yeah. The third key factor was know yourself. And the tactics, General Chennault's tactics quite easier, just hit and run. Because you close in, shoot, dive, and break off. The T-40 are much heavier than the Zero. So you can maneuverability, you cannot compete with the zero. So just because it's very heavy, so you exert your speed, just hit close and shoot and go. It won't lose it will decrease the loss rate. And number 4 key factor was the deception work. So totally, I mean, in the fall of 1942, they estimate we have more than 200 aircraft. Actually, only 47. Do you know why? We only had a 47 airplane. So General Chennault, he changed the each one keep the real number. But every time when they have a mission, they change the number. Change the number and change the tail color, whatever, you name it. So when they airborne from different airfield, so land to the different airfield. So make Japanese feel confused. What whole bunch of aircraft from different aircraft, whole bunch of aircraft airborne from different airfield. So he thought, wow, they have so many airplanes, but actually only 47. So General Chennault, very smart. Unfortunately, 3 senior ranking officials don't like him. General Marshall, General Arnold, and General Stilwell. Why? Because Doolittle Ray, 3 of them, they are not trust General Chennault. They also not trust Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek. I had another briefing about the Doolittle Ray. Because they don't like him, so 2 days before attack, they inform our government, say, hey guys, you need to know we have a secret mission. We'll go there, you need to prepare for the airfield, even the night landing system, like the lights, everything. At that time, 2 days, not enough, at least 2 weeks or 2 months, but they worry about the intel leak. So that's why only informed that that's why they made the Doolittle Ray lost so many aircraft and the pilot air crew were killed. If we can prepare for that earlier, we can save more life. So that's why. But sometimes, we need to, we need to get rid of the personal feeling or personal hatred. Focus on the common goal, But anyway, it's gone. Yeah. If you have time, maybe I can come back for the Doolittle Ray, if you like. Okay. Somebody need to pay the ticket for me. Oh, I'm just kidding. And last is teamwork. Okay, I don't want to mention more about that. So just for your information. Here is the insignia of the whole, the AVG, CATF, because this was not designed by me. This was from my idea. Make them combine together. That's my idea. So let you know the whole history more easier. Good to know by Chinese and the English. The shock mounts got designed. You can see here the pattern on the Australian People is published in the Illustrated Weekly of India. So was spotted by the Charles Bond, very famous pilot. Okay, he discussed with General Chennault and got approval to make this happen. Originally, do you know why the Flying Tigers, the name, the official name was AVG? Because the shark teeth on the nose in the air looks like the tiger's teeth, tiger's mouth. So that's because it's flying. So all people say, oh, that's a flying tiger, because they can bite the Japanese. So that's what. Yeah. So that's where the name came from. Originally, we have 6 kinds. Okay, you can name here, crime provision, science. Yeah, very talent, right? Yeah, that's a true story. And here's a published on the book. But afterwards, too many. You can decide today if you like. Okay. Yeah.
They all work.
Yeah. Now we'll talk about the blood sheet. Blood sheet was created in the World War II. Even today, your military still use the blood sheet. In the Desert Storm, in the Doolittle Way, And even today in the Middle East today, with the local, I mean the country inside in the Middle East and use Arabian today. In the Europe at the same time they have the Dutch language and the French, same thing happened. But in China, as we call the CBI theater, we use the Chinese, English, and the Thai description in that. Here's some of the bloodshed. Just let me show you. There are over hundreds different samples. Hal Jagged, very good friend of mine. He passed away, 93 years old. 2 years ago he passed away in California. Yeah, that's me. So I visit him in his house. He showed his jacket to me. Very old, but it's antiques. At that time I asked him to donate. I said, in the United States we have a whole bunch of flying type jacket, but in my country only one, I mean in Taiwan. So if possible, would you like to donate it to our Air Force? He stuck there for 5 seconds. So, okay, why not? But now he passed away. We still try to talk to his wife, Anita. Good lady. So anyway. So when President Ma, our former president, visited California last time, met him, salute to him. That's in the Young's Air Museum. And here's I got this book. Still, you can buy it today. You can very easy to find in the United States. Okay, the bloodshed history. There was one donated by your pilot. His grandson gave this to me. I keep this in my house. One thing I want to mention that to you. What happened to the people from Poland? Mr. Viktor Upanovich. He's American after World War II. Do you know why? Because during the Great Britain war, he shut down the 15 German aircraft. Poland already lost their country. You also the government excel, right? In London, the Polish government there. So they have a whole bunch. They have I think 2 or 3 squadrons. The airplane provided by the United Kingdom, but all the pilots were Polish. So they are very brave, you know. He's very good, shut down the 15, because he likes to fight. The government treat him like a national hero. So that it really matter. You can fly now. We want to keep you alive. So send him to the United States as a deputy Air Force attaché. And so when he arrived in Washington D.C., he said, "I'm not a desk guy. He don't want to sit in the table, in the office. So I want to fight again." So the thing about in Asia can be more easy. Actually, that's not easy. When you fight Japan, very tough, But still send him to China. He went to China, stayed there for 3 months, and then he killed another 2 Japanese fighters. This guy make a world record. In his lifetime, during the combat mission, he never took a bullet in his airplane. This guy is genius. Ding Hao. Okay, because too long, I just show you more quickly. Okay? That's a citation paper. There's 21 pilots from the United States. Okay, the credit, the 5 or more than the victory. Show you here. Maybe, yeah. Then here's from the Chinese side. Look, all of them were so young. American, Chinese, all so young. Okay, most of them. Long life. After war, he retired, came to the United States. He passed away 2 years ago at the age 103 years old. California, Los Angeles. Here's the book you need to look. Okay, I found this collected by my friend in Taiwan. So he got it from eBay. You can't believe he spent almost more than $1 million for the past several years. He bought a whole bunch of stuff through eBay. Unbelievable, crazy guy. His wife knows nothing. So he said, don't tell them. I said, I can talk to my American friend. So if his wife knows that we're killing, you know, $1 million, that's his pocket money.
Very successful man.
Yeah. I went to his house. Gosh, so many, I should say the world treasure, all related to the flying tigers. General Chennault's letter, there is more than 15 or 20 letters. People, everything. That's how to call this. He also bought this, you know, from eBay. Scarf or whatever. Yeah. That's in 1943. Our pilot with American instructors. Yeah, look there. Here, General Chennault left China on 1st of August. 2 days earlier, we have a farewell party for him. That's memorized those years. That's in 2009. General Chennault's wife Emma, I'm quite familiar with her. Passed away last year. Fei Chao, same thing. John Allison, very famous. There's a reunion, 1988. There's a Fei Chao, you saw it. When he was shut down, he shut down 4.5. But he also was shut down by Japanese. That's his flight suit with the blood. Also have 3 letters. One to his wife, another to his classmate. If they kill, you know, how to say,遗书中英文该怎么说 will letter. Yeah. The reunion, another reunion, 2004. Yeah. In Arlington, 2006. That's same year in different places. When I was wing commander, I moved the General Chennault's statue from the one park in Taipei and moved back to our wing. So General Anna and her boyfriend came to Taipei, came to my base. This young man at that time was captain, now is a lieutenant colonel. Now he's a deputy attaché in Washington D.C. Also, he graduated from the Luke Air Force Base twice. Yeah, very good pilot. I moved this statue here. Yeah, that photo was shown in the early days when the established. The statue was finished construction on that park. So in 1960, and then Chennault, there's statues. There's a painting, a paint by my friend in Taiwan. You can imagine this B-25, they almost lost another tail. So still can, that's the real stuff, you know, yeah. Anyway, so brave. They visit our Air Force Museum in 2006. I go through my personal channel to make our AIDC, just like your Lucky Martin, to make one replica P-40. My goal is to buy the new one. Not flyable in the future, but not easy. This is very important. In the early days, before the 1980, maybe some of you know the Chinese. PRC, men in China, they hate General Chennault. So that's why they call the gangster Chennault. Here is the flying thief Chennault. But today they are totally changed their mind due to the political reason or whatever, because General Chennault, just like his lifetime against communists, anti-communist. But today, his granddaughter and his daughter sometimes went to China for anyway. But you know, things change. It's different. John Woo, very famous movie director, came to my office, tried to make a movie related to the flying tigers, but finally failed. Why? Because in mainland China, the Yunnan province, they say, how much do you want? They say roughly $200 million. They say no problem. Only one condition. All the screenplay, you need to listen to me. The John would say, no. He listened to the mainland China, the history totally was not the true one, So they say, no way. But today, I have a very good friend. Stand up, please. He's an American citizen, and his father fight for the freedom in World War II. Also, was after Flying Tigers. He belonged to CHCW, and he's related to the movie theater stuff. He's trying to help me in the future to make a movie. He knows Bill Gibson quite well. Very good friend of mine, Jimmy. And this is when Japan is surrounded. They have a pre-surround meeting in Zhejiang. So four airplane escort by our Air Force, another 4 by American. He's the leader. One was like an Air Force preparedness school. One was student. He was my commandant. And he passed away in age of 92, I think. Yeah. Here's the old days after World War II. All the group commander in Nanjing, they have a photo together. They're all, glory history. Here's President Ma visit Air Force Museum. I explain all the Flying Tiger to him. This guy I mentioned about the on the 25th November 1943, the air raid to Hsinchu. He was one of the planners. He died 4 years ago in New Jersey at the age of 103. So when we celebrate his birthday, 102, we went to New Jersey. Okay, this guy, unbelievable. The president sent his like a present special gift to him. This reunion photo in Hsinchu Air Base. President Ma hosts the ceremony. Here's your Congress celebrate the Flying Tigers. This parade, Memorial Day. This was I gave the speech in Atlanta, Boston, Los Angeles, San Francisco. So next time I will show in the commemorative Air Force Museum here. And this I say goodbye to Madame Chennault, but afterwards he passed away. This I saw the people in Atlanta. In my lifetime, no chance to meet him, but finally have a they're surrounded. Ceremony in Nanjing. That's their achievement, just for your information. How many airplanes they shut down, and how many ships, whatever. Yeah. That's just for your information. Each one of them. They design the instrument surrounding in Tokyo. That's our representative. This General MacArthur. Yeah, that's for your information. Here is because I know Anna Chennault quite well, so she approved. So I sent 2 experts to her office to digitize all the history related to General Chennault, like letters, photos, documents, blah blah, something like that. But totally more than 3,687 pages. So now we have a protecting in we call it academic sick in Seneca in Taiwan. But real stuff still in Washington D.C. The General Chennault's diary, the AVG's operational logbook, and this is the letter was written by General Arnold to General Chennault. Here's the commemorative of the Flying Tigers blanket. I donate to the. This is our new museum in Taiwan. The airplane to see.
Sorry.
You need to pay me $1. Not just kidding. This movie cannot show because due to the computer anyway. Just the victory parade in London, including our troops, your troops, etc. There's I want to emphasize, to express the most profound respect to all of both countries' heroes. They sacrificed their life for the freedom and democracy during World War II. That's ours. I have a special channel. If you can go there to pay your respect to them. I want to mention that those perished during the war against Japan invasion, totally over 3 million people were killed. Our soldiers, civilian more than 30 million. And the perished during the war, the Air Force totally have 4,321, but only 777 reaches in Taipei. Thank you. Sorry, it's too long.